Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grow With Us. Grow With Us is a podcast that focuses on the talent-focused mission of In Tulsa, a talent advising organization for startups, local businesses, and expanding corporations. My name is Evan Barton, and I will be your host each week, where I'll be joined by a guest who is making a difference in Tulsa by furthering our mission of creating equitable opportunities via technology, innovation, and strategic partnerships. This week, we are in conversation with Program Director of Tulsa Service Year, Andreya Williams, who will be chatting with me about Tulsa Service Year, creating impactful opportunities, and supporting recent college grads. Welcome, Andreya. It's great to have you on.
Thank you.
I am really excited about this episode because I think that what Tulsa Service Year is as a program is like one of the best things going for the city right now. I'm a little biased. It kind of was the thing that got me into this whole ecosystem in a lot of ways, because I did apply and, things worked out the way that they worked out. I'm really, really glad to know that something like Tulsa Service Year exists. And so I'm really excited to talk about it with you, Andreya.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
How about we go ahead and get started with you just telling me your story and really just whatever way you feel comfortable.
Yeah, so I am originally from Canton, Ohio, home of the Hall of Fame. And the Pro Football Hall of Fame, to be clear. So originally moved here in 2013. I was teaching 7th grade social studies, and I thought that that was like the dream, job. Like I couldn't wait to get in the classroom. I went to school at the University of Toledo, graduated with both my bachelor's and my master's, and I had spent some time overseas just working with children. And so I felt like, all the things kind of led up to me being in the classroom, and eventually I would move up toward administration. But you go through a whole plan and you think this is how life is going to work until it doesn't. And so I started teaching and I realized this was not what I thought it was going to be. And so I had to quickly kind of pivot to try to piecemeal, if you will, experiences that I had done in undergrad and in graduate school. And I tried to build a resume that was more higher ed focused. And that focus really was a lot of student affairs, programming and activity and engagement, and done some stuff overseas. And so I just tried to, like I said, pivot quickly and string together some experiences that would reflect, me being able to come into a space at an entry level higher ed, position. And so I did. And I got hired at the University of Tulsa. I knew no one in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but I was just like, I can do anything for a year. I can do anything for a year.
Yeah.
And so I decided to move from Ohio. I packed up my car, my family came. And I appreciated the opportunity. So I worked at the University of Tulsa, and thankfully they provided all of my housing and all of my living expenses. And so there's this word that we use in the ecosystem of de-risk. And so the opportunity to move to Tulsa just felt like it was de-risked. I had housing, I had a meal plan, I had all the things.
Yeah.
It was just super nice.
Well,
right?
and you're going into a college environment too, which I think those environments have like a certain type of welcoming. Everyone's starting something new.
Exactly. And it was super familiar for me. I had just, even though I had that small stint in the classroom, I had just come from graduate school and graduated in May. So being in higher ed was familiar, and being back on a college campus felt very familiar. And so I was super excited, not just to get out of the classroom, but to move. And, I was just this bright, fresh out of the classroom, fresh out of graduate school, ready to really start my career here. And as I said, I thought I'd be here for a year, and that was in 2013. So
look at her now.
Look at us now, still in Tulsa, and doing something completely different than what I thought I would be doing. And, one of the things that I appreciate about Tulsa Service Year is, in a way, it has been my lived experience, moving from across the country, coming to a place that I didn't know anyone, finding community as a result of finding that community, staying in community, and then, moving through the city, right, trying to affect change in the way that I, believe I know how. And so I think my connection to Tulsa Service Year is so authentic because it really is a reflection of my lived experience and how I migrated to Tulsa.
Oh, yeah. And that totally helps you support your fellows, which I think we'll get into more a little bit later about how your role in that process. But it is so nice to have like lived experiences be so connected to what we're doing in our work.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge thing that can sometimes get like overshadowed because it's kind of like you don't want to take enough credit.
Right.
You're like, I
Right.
know that I did this, but like, did I do it? I feel like it's hard to sometimes give yourself credit, essentially.
Yeah, I can relate. Yes.
So yeah, you've been here in Tulsa since 2013. Like,
Yes.
what have you seen in the city? What's
Oh,
your stuff to do?
yeah. 2013 Tulsa is not the same Tulsa that we see in 2021. One thing that I will say is I feel like the Tulsa that I moved to was very much a Tulsa that I didn't feel connected to. And over time, I feel super connected to this place. I feel like, I'm a part of a community that I've helped grow and help shape and help bring people into. And even as people leave, I went to a wedding a few months ago and we went and it was a Tulsa reunion. We actually took a Tulsa picture. And so I was just super reflective over, that time where we were all here. And the one thing that I will say is, for the people that come here, in fact, my sister was just here this weekend and she extended her stay because she was like, I'm having such a good time. And, I'm meeting so many of your friends. And, we were just doing things within the city. And the one thing that I say or that I believe is that community really changes how you navigate and feel connected to a place.
Oh, 100%.
100%, right?
Yeah.
And so when I think about 2013 and not knowing anyone and then, kind of where I am now, not only do I feel like I know people, but I also feel that I am a connector of people. So, what is my commitment to making sure that people know people? And how do I create the infrastructure to support that? And so I think that is the Tulsa that I live in now. And that is the Tulsa that I feel like I'm able to shape.
Yeah, it's so impactful to be like not only a participant in the community, but to also be the person that helps usher in like new people. I know
A facilitator almost.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so fulfilling sometimes because you're recognizing like what you get from a space and what that potential or what that experience can give to someone else too, which I think that I've had a lot of experiences in Tulsa like that where I really want to share it with other people.
Right. I feel like it's the gift that keeps on giving, right? Like once you experience it, you know how it's kind of changed how you view Tulsa or changed how you move around in Tulsa. Or we could apply this to any, example, but once you experience it, you almost want to give it away. Like it's the thing that you want to be able to reciprocate.
Well, and I think it's really that operative too of like service.
Exactly.
I really think that I get a lot of fulfillment and joy about being of service to other people. And that's mostly because I think that I get a lot of joy from the idea that someone is positively impacted by me. Yeah, I'd love to just talk a little bit more about like what is Tulsa Service Year?
Tulsa Service Year is a year-long fellowship that recruits college graduates from all over the country to come and work in Tulsa. We pay their salary, their benefits, and we give them a relocation package. It's, not lost on us that when you're in college and you're graduating, sometimes you may need a little help coming into a new city, and certainly moving. And again, being that we recruit from all over the country, like we want to make sure that we can aid in helping people get here. And so, yeah, the program really exists to help college graduates find impactful work within one of four pillars. So our pillars are social impact, arts and education, civic engagement, and entrepreneurial support. And so they self-identify through the application where their interests are. We asked our host sites to submit their job descriptions so that we get an idea of what exactly are our hosts looking for within this ecosystem. And so what we do is kind of do this interview process. Well, not kind of. We do an interview process, a first round interview process to get to know the person behind the application. But then we think about, okay, who might be a best fit for this organization through the needs that the organization has lifted up. And so then the second round of interviews are with the host and with the candidate. They are then paired to do the interviews. And so what we also ask is that at the end of the interview cycle, the second round, we ask that our host sites and our partners name their top preferences. And so in that's where we start finalizing placement for acceptance into the program. All of our placements are based on a mutual match. So Tulsa Service Year exists to find opportunities where both parties have mutually named, this is where I want to be, this is where I want to work, or this is who I'd love to work with. And yeah, we pay, like I said, their salary, their benefits, and give them a relocation package. But we also curate this experience now that they're in the cohort to get familiar with Tulsa. We talked about, immersion and how, when you're in a space, you begin to learn the people and the community and the language. And, you can see some of the tensions because we know that those are here too, right? And so we try to create an experience for them where they're growing. Literally, our mission is to catalyze their career, their community, and the city of Tulsa. And so in that, we catalyze their career. We catalyze that by having a series, what we call Leadership and Development Series, right? And it's a monthly in-service that rotates between the immersion experience that I talked about and the leadership and professional development. And so they rotate between those each month. And we try to, get them in front of leaders within our ecosystem that are change agents, that are making a difference in their community within their niche, and also try to show them places that historically showcase the story of Tulsa, right? Our history that we know and that we showcase and lift up. So through the program, they get the opportunity to meet different professionals. We try to match them with a career mentor. And we also try to make sure that through their reflection activities, we're kind of looking to see, how they're progressing through the program. That's super important for us as well. Yeah, what exactly? That's the perfect word. What is emerging? What are their experiences? They also meet with me regularly through a bi-weekly meeting. And so through our relationship, I get to understand kind of, how are they adjusting to being in Tulsa? Who can I connect them with? I literally, and that can look differently for each fellow, right? One person wanted to get connected to soccer, right? Outdoor soccer. And I was like, how do I make that? And I happen to know someone that did. So paired them and I got a picture, I think Sunday. I was like, look who I'm with, So I love doing that. But I think that really speaks to that immersion, right? How are they able to immerse in that experience organically and then structurally through the way that we plan?
Yeah, that's really great to hear that you're offering way more than just come to the city.
You're not coming here just to work. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's so
we're
much
giving you
more
a whole
that we have for you
experience.
here. Exactly. It's like a language, right? Have you ever gone to Cancun or any like Spanish speaking country?
I've said this on the podcast before. I've actually never been out of the U.S., but I get the gist.
Goals, yes.
Goals for sure.
Goals for sure. But I know I've gone to Panama and I've gone to Cancun, and the dominant language, primary language is Spanish. And so when you're immersed in it, you hear it and you begin remembering, there's this like recollection, right? But the point is that as you're immersed in it, you become more familiar with it. It becomes more ingrained and you're almost kind of saturated in the culture and the experiences, and you actually learn, studies show that you learn the language a lot faster when you're immersed in it. And so our belief is that as you're immersed in Tulsa, you learn and get to see and get to feel the impact of community and its people and the way that you can affect change within this space, right? And so we show and talk about the history that is here. And we try to do that in a way that is shared, right? We try to do that in this way that tells a story. And we also try to lift up the exploration of tension, right? And so because oftentimes when you are presented something with such harmony, you wonder, okay, well, how does this coexist? How do these things coexist? And so we also try to lift up like where the needs are and where the problems are and how they can work in their sphere, within their nonprofit or within their passion to affect change in that specific area. So I think it's important to do the immersion experience coupled with the leadership and development experience, because our goal within Tulsa Service Year is to catalyze community, catalyze their career, and catalyze Tulsa. And so in that, we align all of those monthly in-services. They meet with me regularly on a biweekly basis. And alongside, working in their placement site, they really get this full Tulsa Service Year experience.
Yeah, and I want to highlight a couple things you just said right there. I think the part about being immersed in Tulsa is huge. another really amazing selling point of Tulsa Service Year is that you're immersed in an organization that is doing such impactful work.
Right. Our pillars are social impact, civic engagement, arts and education, and entrepreneurial support. And so any of the individuals come in and they name what are their areas of interest. And so we find organizations that align with those interests and that have jobs that will allow them to showcase kind of their talent and their passion. It lifts up the opportunity to create tangible skills to maybe do something in future in graduate work or in law school or whatever they pursue after this service year. But yeah, our job is to really pair them and place them with organizations where they feel like they'll be the best fit. And so a huge part of our process is this mutual match. And we do that because we want both individuals to feel like I've named this. I can recognize that this is a place that I think I'll best benefit, or the organization say this is the individual we think will best fit our culture. And then we place our people based on that mutual match.
Yeah, which is like, I think, such a validating experience after coming out of college. Because especially, I mean, whenever I was going through the process of applying to service year, and also just, I think most college kids are still kind of in this experience of like graduating in a pandemic and
Yes.
finding a job
Yes.
in a uncertain time.
Yes.
And Tulsa Service Year is kind of a light at the end of the tunnel, because I think what you said earlier when you were talking about your experience in Tulsa, like, I can do anything for a year. Like, that's Tulsa Service Year. And what's really cool about the mutual match process is you really can choose what you want to do in some ways. Like, hopefully that organization chooses you too, but like, you're having autonomy in that decision.
Exactly.
And it's getting to align with your future goals, and you're taking a chance. Like, it's such a cool, I love Tulsa Service Year.
Yeah, thank you. I think so too.
So let's kind of talk about, you touched on some of the universities that you specifically recruit from. Let's talk about that process of how do you get Tulsa Service Year in front of students as an opportunity for postgraduate?
One of the things that I think is really important is telling the story of fellows. How do we make that audible? How do we allow people to hear that? Because it's one thing to have this digital ad, which we do, right? We do digital ads on Instagram and all the platforms. But it's equally important to double down on those digital ads by showcasing and highlighting. We use this term in our world called lifting up, right? We lift up the story of other people, and specifically the fellows and the hosts who have been able to benefit, right? One of the things that I think is important about Tulsa Service Year is that we create value, right? There's value created both for the host site and both for the individual. And so we try to lift up that value. We try to lift up the value that was created from the host perspective and from the fellow perspective. And so we do video testimonials. We distribute those to the institutions that our fellows come from. And so we create these direct pipelines to those institutions.
Yeah.
But we also highlight those on our website. And we also highlight those experiences on our social media, as I said. We recently started to do, now that we're back kind of in motion, we started doing career fairs, which, we did some of those together, tag team.
So fun, honestly.
Yeah,
I had a great time.
It was so fun. And, meeting people in person and making those connections. And, I love the opportunity to talk about service year and to recruit in those settings. But really what we have found is virtual has also been a super huge tool. Through Zoom, we've been able to connect to different institutions, been able to do virtual career fairs as well, in addition to the in-person. So our recruitment process is it's a very varied process. It's
holistic.
It's holistic. Yeah. We recruit digitally through our ads and our social media platforms. We recruit in person through career fairs, and virtually through Zoom opportunities. So.
Yeah. And I think that what's really cool about this program is once you have a class year finish, you have 10 new ambassadors or 15 new ambassadors for what Tulsa Service Year does.
Exactly. And we've had the privilege of the 13 that were in the first cohort. 8 of them decided to stay. And so one of the things that I thought was important was to lift up the alum experience and, why they chose to stay in Tulsa, or what they gained while they were in Tulsa and went, to graduate school. I would say that for the fellows who didn't stay in Tulsa, they went on to graduate school.
Yeah, they're going to catalyze a community somewhere else, and maybe it is returning to Tulsa too. But we also have to recognize that I think it's fair to say that if you land in a city and there's opportunity for you there, just go for it.
Go for it.
It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be X city, Y city.
Right.
I know we love Tulsa and we talk about it a lot on this podcast, but like I think it's fair to say you can find this opportunity in a lot of places, but like we're talking specifically about how awesome this one is.
Right, but we're talking about Tulsa. We want you to be in this one.
Because it's a real thing. I think we had Mark on our episode 3, and I was so energized by that conversation with him.
Yeah.
Because I think that Mark has this like special power of just getting you excited about whatever he's talking about.
Whatever he's doing. Yeah. Mark and I would have one-on-one. So for context, Mark Lamonck is one of our 2020 Tulsa Service Year Fellows. He is an alum. And Mark would always set up his meetings with me at 9 a.m. on Mondays. And 9 a.m. on Mondays, when we have moved to this hybrid and remote, world, it's like, okay, well, we're having coffee. Like we're meeting for coffee. But I would joke and say, you always make Mondays great because we meet at 9, and just the energy and, being able to be a part of kind of the story, right? Like coming into 36 and meeting the people and starting the Black Gold series and, just doing all the things. And now to see, Cadenzo and his co-founders come together, be in this accelerator, launch full time. I mean, it's exciting and it really speaks to what you can do here in Tulsa.
In a year. That especially his story, I'm like, in 1 year, he's already there. Like that's
in a
really
year.
Awesome.
Yes.
What does Tulsa Service Year look like in 5 to 10 years? This can be as broad as you want. I think what's important here is to just recognize like the impact of this program.
Yeah, Tulsa Service Year, I think in 5 years, continues to recruit from the best institutions across the country. I think we have a strong alumni base that can speak to what Tulsa Service Year provided for them. I would love to see Tulsa Service Year continue to be recognized as one of the foremost, or not continue to be, but I would like to see Tulsa Service Year recognized as one of the foremost service programs in the country. I think there's a real opportunity, and we spoke to this earlier, where, the experience of college graduates, recent college graduates, is not linear, right? Like there's no one path that gets you to the next thing.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, and especially in this time when, opportunities may have been canceled or whatever, gap years exist for the reason to explore what I want to do next. And I think in this space of, we are reconfiguring what work looks like for us.
Yeah.
We are thinking differently about, coming into an office or having co-working spaces. And so I think Tulsa Service Year provides college graduates just the opportunity to maybe think differently, or just pause to just think about what is next while earning the $40,000 salary. In 5 years, I hope that grows.
Yeah.
But while earning the $40,000 salary and the benefits and the relocation package, I think that it provides you the opportunity to make money by also giving you the space to grow as a professional and to think about what I may want to do next, or to explore what you may not have even known existed. And so I think Tulsa Service Year, with all the attention that is coming to our great city through, other programs, shout out to Campus Tulsa and Tulsa Remote and in Tulsa and all the opportunities, right, that we see this influx of people coming to Tulsa. I believe that Tulsa Service Year in 5 years will continue to be that program for this demographic of college graduates. I think I would like for it to be a program that is recognized, where we become kind of a blueprint or model for how other cities might begin to recruit college grads of our caliber and the opportunities that they can engage in their ecosystem. And unashamedly, right? Like we be proud to tell that story, right? Tulsa Service Year before continuing to lead the narrative on how to recruit top talent.
Oh yeah. I think what I love about this opportunity and the direction that this program is offering is a couple things. The one that really gets me is just it's allowing people to be stable and exploratory in their career.
Yeah.
I think that's like that's totally what I needed, and totally what so many people that I know need is like a little bit of a dose of reality sometimes. And recent college grads like can stumble into opportunities that are like great for that direction for them, and also like be kind of scorned by the world a little bit, you know? Like reality is hard to be grinding every day.
It is. It is. And like I said, I don't know that I said this earlier, but I came here in 2013 working at the University of Tulsa, loved it, got promoted there, grew there. And I wasn't necessarily looking, right, I didn't even know Tulsa Service Year existed. And it found me, right? And I think I'm so grateful for the opportunity to do it, because there's all these intersections of things I love to do, right? Working with people, working with college students, recruiting, all the things, right? Kind of combined into one, building curriculum, casting vision. And so I think in that same way, like, I think one of the things that I think about is exactly that, like the stable and exploratory. You can make a living, and for people who think 40,000 is no money, we also help subsidize their apartment, and we do.
It's not no money. Let's get that straight, because I honestly think that whenever I graduated, I started bartending, and I was making nowhere close to that. So just like, it is interesting. Like we're in the city of Tulsa, so our cost of living is a little different.
Exactly.
I think people can get scared of that number.
$40,000 in Tulsa goes a long way. It goes a long way, and so I don't want people to be misconceived. And I'm glad that we get to do what we do. In fact, to me, it's amazing to see. We started off with 13 and move to, okay, well, let's grow the program. Let's do 20 fellows. And this year, I'm excited. We're growing the program and recruiting 30 fellows. And that gives us the opportunity to also invite more partners into the space and work with us. And I really am excited about the trajectory of Tulsa Service Year. I am excited about our brand. I talked about it being the foremost, service program in the country, but it also being a brand that is recognized and well respected here in this community, right? To know, like, I get a Tulsa Service Year fellow, right? Or to know, like, I'm going to work at that organization. I think the brand of Tulsa Service Year is something that I'm excited to continue to grow.
Oh, yes. Oh, I love that you dropped the knowledge that we're getting 30 fellows next year.
Yes.
So any Grow With Us listeners that are wanting to find out more about Tulsa Service Year, or maybe send an application or anything along those lines, where can they find that information?
Yeah, so all of our information is on our website, tulsaserviceyear.com. We also have a LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, all using the same hashtag or handle, Tulsa Service Year. And we've launched our application. We're just excited to continue informing people on how they can be hosts. We've been, like I said, answering questions and recruiting at college fairs and all the things as people geared up to apply. We've started to see applications come in already, and super excited about our numbers and just where the direction of our program is going this year.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Andreya, for being here and talking to me about Tulsa Service Year. If anyone wanted to get into contact with you, what's a great way to stay connected? Yeah,
well, I'm on all social media. I think the easiest way to connect with me is through LinkedIn, if you're wanting to learn more about Tulsa Service Year, and that is also on our website. So if you just go to our website, Tulsa Service Year, my LinkedIn is connected to that, and also my email. So that's easiest way. Go to Tulsa Service Year. There's a tab, Meet the Director, and they can go from there to connect with me.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Andreya. Thank you for sharing everything with us that you discussed. I'd like to plug a few resources for our listeners of Grow With Us that might be of use to you. If you would like to stay in touch with all of our featured jobs and opportunities in Tulsa, then please join our talent network. By joining our talent network, you let us know you're interested in working with an in-Tulsa company, and our talent team will make sure we put the right opportunities on your radar. You can join at talentintulsa.com. That's talent.intulsa.com. Stay tuned for more Grow With Us episodes about tips and tricks for the job application process, learning more about the amazing communities of support in Tulsa, and the tech and innovation that is attracting people across the country to the Heartland.